Okay, hi guys. This is a recording to see how to do that assignment
Trial.
or that exercise on Simulate. On my screen, I've got the exercise 1, the Sports Pro
Trial.
manufacturer that's going to make those mats. I'm just going to scroll down. If we have a look there, it gives you the operation names. Each of these operations need to get into
Trial.
your simulation. Gives you capacities. We'll talk on those a little later. Scrap
Trial.
rates, reworks, and other comments. So we'll just take these, start with this section
Trial.
as a starting point. Just scrolling down quickly to see what else is in there. It does ask
Trial.
you to do a supermarket. We'll talk on that a little later. And then the 4 batches of 100 mats each.
Trial.
We'll discuss that as well. Okay. Another aspect that is of importance is the issue with the shifts. I'm going to
Trial.
mark those for you. Let's just do that. And then a trial run of 100 runs. So we'll get back to that. So let's just quickly start with
Trial.
the operations. That's the easy part. You need to have 4 cutting operations, sewing, filling, and packaging and wrapping. So let's go
Trial.
in this side. This is my model that I've created. Let's start with the 4 cutting operations. So that's them stuck in
Trial.
there. By the way, this whole model is on Moodle for you guys.
Trial.
So those are my 4 models. My 4 modules. There's the sewing assembly operation, filling operation, and packing and wrapping. Get rid of that.
Trial.
Right. Let's just have a look at how to deal with those
Trial.
reworks. I'm just going to open one of these.
Trial.
There we go. Okay. In terms of scrap and rework, if you open the routing out form, you can see I've got
Trial.
93% going to my supermarket, which would be, in this case, it's just the queue. So just leave it at that.
Trial.
2% would go to the scrap bin and 5% would go to the reworks.
Trial.
That's your 2% there, and that's the 5% coming from there for the reworks. If we just go to have a look at the notes,
Trial.
it asks us that scrap needs to be considered first in all operations, in all instances. So whatever the reasoning behind
Trial.
that, this is how you do it. If you have a look, you'll see that scrap bin is first on the list, and then the supermarket, and only
Trial.
then the rework. In order to change that, you would click on that, and using these 2 little hands, you can move them up and down.
Trial.
Okay, so you'll see my supermarket, I've moved up. That's now first, or down, is now second. So that's
Trial.
how you will deal with the routing out, with the scrap and the reworks. I can add
Trial.
another one. Let's just do that for, okay, that's not going to work. Just skip out of that. If you had to add, now let's just do that.
Trial.
Let's say we've got one that goes to shipping, and I want to attach a percentage to that.
Trial.
I can now go and change that percentage in that box on the left. I don't want to do that
Trial.
now, so let's just kick out of that. Right, so that deals with the first section.
Trial.
I'm going to close out of that. So that's your cutting, your supermarket, and your stations there. Packing and wrapping works in exactly the same way.
Trial.
You've got 3% and 97%. Alright, that's that. In this case, they
Trial.
ask us to have reworks. So we've created the rework dummy station. The dummy station would have a 0 time.
Trial.
The only purpose of that is to allow us to get
Trial.
those reworks in order, so we can assign a priority to them.
Trial.
My priority, I could go and assign a priority to that. I'm not going to do that now, but that then allows these items to go sit in a queue and then be fed back into our operation.
Trial.
Alright, so that's your scrap and reworks. The next question deals with the capacity. In this case, you'll see that there's a capacity of 250 pieces per shift. So you're just going to have to go and do the calculation on that. If I open up a calculator, if I can find one. Alright. My calculator. The shift in this case is dependent on the length of the shift. Shift is given as 8.5 hours. So we're just going to do that. That gives me 510 minutes. Scrolling back up. I can do 250 per shift. So it's 250 divided by 510. Gives me 0.49 minutes per unit. Okay. So let's just go and make sure that I got it right there. Okay. I messed up something. That's the other way around. So just clean that up. 115 minutes, 510 minutes divided by 250 units gives me 2.04 minutes per unit. And that's the time you get there. In this case, we set everything to average, so there's no surprises there. Right, so that's your capacity. This one is a little tricky. It works on sets, but don't let that worry you, because there's one set of handles per bag or per mat. So in this case, it gives you 4 handles per mat. So the 350 sets would obviously include that 4 units per set. Okay. Moving on, the rest of the timings there are pretty straightforward. I'm not going to worry about that. Let's go and have a look at that supermarket question. The issue with the supermarket, if you think about the supermarket, it's nothing other than a simple queue. A queue that is set up not as a mixed queue, but as a specialized queue. So in this case, I've got tops and bottoms going and sitting in that supermarket queue there. Backs and sides in its own queue, and so on and so on. Each of these have their own queue. Alright, so that's straightforward. The 4 batches of 100 mats, that's our so let me just pick up where I left off. Rework is package and sent back. Okay. They ask us to release 4 batches of 100 mats each day at the start of the shift. Now, if you consider that, we're going to release 100 mats in each batch. Okay? And we need to release 4 of those batches per shift. So if we take 8.5 hours, that was the 510 minutes. We divide that by 4. That gives us 127.5 minutes. Right, so every 127.5 minutes we need to release a batch of 100 mats. So let's see if that's the way I've done it there.
Trial.
So there's the 127 minutes.
Trial.
That's the inter-arrival time, and I've set that to fixed because I'm going to release those 4. And I know the question said I'm going to release that at the beginning of the shift, so potentially there's a question mark on that. Maybe I should have just set that to 510 and released all 4 batches at the same time. But let's just try it out in this way. In that case, I've got a batch, and you'll see that I've used a fixed value of 500 for that batch size.
Trial.
Alright, the question is, why is it 500? It's quite simple in the sense that I have to feed 5 different stations. Okay, I've got one station going, that's the filler foam. I've got the tops and bottoms. I've got the backs and sides. I've got the opening side, and I've got the handles. So there are 5 sets going out. So that deals with a 500. So 5 times 100, that gives me 5 batches of 100. Alright, now this is important because when I'm routing those out, I'm sending it to those 5 stations, and I'm using the circulate discipline. We mentioned that in class the other day. There's your circulate, and it's going to start from 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to spread those out like you deal a hand of cards. You're going to spread it out in that way. Alright, and that's going to happen for 100 of those items. Alright, so that deals with your batching. Let's just go back and see what else did we miss there. Typical shift. Shift time is 8.5 hours. That's pretty straightforward. Open that. Clock properties. Mine is still set to start at 6 o'clock in the morning and to finish at 1700. Sorry, that's the duration. Sorry, my mistake. Duration of the day is 17 hours. How do I get to that? 8.5 times 2 shifts gives me 17 hours. Alright, so that deals with that issue. And remember, we said that there are 2 shifts. Where was that? 2 shifts per day, 5 days a week. There we go. Alright, that's that. The trial setup. Quite simple. You just go and set that up to 100 runs in the trial and apply. And you are ready to go. I'm going to run mine so we can see what that looks like. It's done, and it kicks out the report for us, and you can see all the items that I've selected to record on. Notice that in this case I've got the load 95% and the high 95%, and it's giving me that little symbol there which tells me that this is a distribution. Remember, I've done 100 runs on this. So this information comes from 100 data points. It's not consecutive, 3 consecutive runs. It is a set of 100 runs that's been put together. You can go and have a look at the history. I've done that a couple of times. So there's your information. Alright, so that's the story for that particular model. You will see that I've marked those based on the various items that I've discussed here. We go take a look at
trial,
what you've done, compare it to my model. Everything is on Moodle. If it's not there, I can email it to you, or I can just
trial.
check that it gets put back in there. Alright, I hope you guys found that useful, and good luck with it.